All right. Wait, we're live? Oh. Are we unmudded? Bro, why do you not give us a countdown? Where is Gam?
Oh, what the Sigma? Yo, Katie Saloma, what's going on? What's good, chat? We're live and shit. Yo, what's good?
We're
We're
live
gonna
type shit.
wait, are we live type shit? Wait, we
Yeah,
are
we
live
are,
type
bro.
shit.
We
What's
are.
good, everyone? Hello. You guys know who I am. I'm Gammy Crayola. Joining me in the VC, the lovely Maiji, alongside Jorian being our streamer and Perry Crayola being our ref. You're watching the second half of the Captain Show match for the 6-digit World Cup Captain's Battle Royale. And this lobby, similar to the last one, some heavy hitters. I think Harold unfortunately will not be joining us today. So here we have Seiri, Kasabe, Yukiyama, Yushin, Codenellis, Snappy, Syntax Error, and Noxilium. At the end of 7 or so maps, we will be taking the winner, and the winner will be facing off against Yoku XP or Satori Depon on Resplendent. But without further ado, I mean, Maiji, what are our thoughts, bro? What are our thoughts? What are we thinking
Hey,
about?
I mean, we've got some pretty big names in here. We see the Philippines and the Indonesia captains, respectively, seed 1 and 2 in the lobby. And then we've got some pretty good known tournament players like Sabe and Colden Ellis also in here. So this should be pretty interesting. And I think a few of these guys going up against Satori on that tiebreaker will be pretty interesting. But we are going to kickstart this Battle Royale with our custom Nomad 4.
That's right. One of my favorite maps. This is going to be No Man on Numfuri and Lava Hongs. Forget about us. This is a custom map by Titi, and it features a lot of your grand finals tech skill sets. It's a grand finals map at its core, and it has a lot of things. You have slider velocity choked in with some tech finger control here and there, coupled along with a truly emotional song that I'm so excited to see this map being played. My G, who do you think? Who do you think is gonna be the star, the watch going into this No Mod 4? What attack
You know,
players your eye?
Going into this Nomad 4, I'm looking at a lot of these higher skill cap players like Hushin and Syntax called Danelis that I mentioned earlier. Early on right now, Yukiyama and Xabe, the first ones to go down.
Oh.
Everybody else holding pretty well, but we are in the tech pet section now. Few players going down as well as Hushin. Lowest person in score right now is Yukiyama right now. There are still 5 FCs on the board though. Snappy, Savory, and Syntact, and Auxilium all going down.
Yeah, that's right. Codenellis was the last one to go down in the KI, and with that, Codenellis gonna lead the lobby of a 100k score lead at this juncture. This map, my G, is so incredibly tricky when it comes to, the flow control. It's not just the flow aim, it's the flow control, and we're gonna see, more purposive start-stop patterns going into the end of this KI, but as it stands right now, the aim control seems to really be a huge boon, or a huge challenge to a lot of these players. Moving into the second half of the KI is going to continue with that barrage of sliders attacking the players.
Yeah, and right now, Syntax Error taking that score lead crown from Colden Ellis, and they are in the driver's seat right now with this big combo and insane accuracy, but as soon as I speak of them, they miss! Hushin, the one to follow up with big combo, followed by Xabe. And right now, the lowest lobby scorers are Snappy and Yukiyama. Only a 2,000 score difference in the halfway mark of the map. So it's going to be a battle between these two because everybody else is way ahead.
Let's take a while to eye down and narrow down on Snappy and Yukiyama right now because it's a fight for survival from both of them in the lobby. We're moving into the build-up section, the 1/3 coming in, the tapping. The energy rises up in the lobby, 130 to 200. Yukiyama with a slight lead in terms of that combo, giving them a slight edge over Snappy. But I don't know what's going to happen after this build-up. Here we go. The kick sliders come in. Yukiyama is the one to go down. Snappy holds but misses at the slider screen. The Syntax Error is going to be the only one to hold.
And in the final quarter of the map, Syntax Error goes down. Colton Ellis, the biggest combo in the lobby, but it's still a duel between Yukiyama and Snappy. Both of them drop in the final section of the map. It's still only a 10k score difference. Snappy, a little bit lower score than Yukiyama. There's no combo. They have the same accuracy. Everybody else in the lobby breaking except Kasabe, but it's still a duel between these two. Yukiyama winning that duel right now, but it's still not over.
Sabe coming in hot. Golden Lelis as well, shocking everyone. That 500 combo finally finds that miss, but you know, as it stands right now, eyeing the two lowest scores, it looks like Snappy is unfortunately going to be the first one to go home.
Unfortunately, the Latvia captain, D1 to drop 07 to Snappy. I believe this was one of their first 6WC appearances, and will end this year. They will end this year off with the Battle Royale. Top score coming out from Syntax Era, the 400k from the Indonesian captain. So they will be the one to pick the next map, I believe. That's how it's going to work. Top scorers pick.
It's actually going to be rolled. So the
Oh.
ref is going to roll 2 maps, and then you get the vote on which map you play. So it's not actually, we're not favoring D-rankers. Surprise, surprise this time.
Let's go gambling.
Let's go gambling. We love gambling. So yeah, we're just going to wait on Perry to send us the next map that we have on hand. And honestly, I mean, there's not much you can talk about. What do you want to see, Mighty? What do you want to see in this pool?
You know, I'm really looking forward to see some of these custom maps. You know, like we have our No Mod 1 and No Mod 2 original songs. We also got that Free Mod 2. Some of those original songs before we go to that TB 1v1 would be really nice to see, just to showcase those before we go into the matches so they can be showed off guaranteed. We also got 2 more customs in the pool. You know, we got that Hidden 1 and Hidden 3. Those are the maps that I would like to see personally. Looking out for players on those maps that I mentioned for like Hidden 1, Hidden 3, you know, you got players like Syntax Error, but we are going to be actually going into the Hidden 1. Oh, let's go! Peak!
Delta
Tell
Rude,
me about this map.
Delta Rude in my 6WC pool. This is another case of hype pooling. You love to see it. Toby Fox, Field of Hopes and Dreams. This is a custom map by one of our poolers being Lighten. Lighten, you might know them as, you know, one of the 5WC hit poolers and a very, very active member in both the mapping and pooling scene. And in fact, commentary scene in the higher rank ranges, namely open rank for the Lighten's commentary. This custom map is all about that hidden flow. You know, 125 BPM, you know, on paper doesn't sound that crazy, but, you know, when you double that up, that is some 250 BPM jumps. And across the board, this is a very, very tricky map, especially in tandem with the hidden, just adding that extra layer of uncertainty. This map is also very, very consistent across the board, so it's really going to be a comfort check through and through on the hidden. It's very, very easy to miss. The intensity of this song doesn't necessarily speak to the difficulty, but it's one of those maps where you blink once and where's my combo?
Can't hear. Hello?
Yes, sir, I can hear you, Mikey.
Alright, thank God we fixed the mic. Hopefully there's no more echo. But we're starting off this Hidden 1. Noxilium not doing too well just at the start, but it's still just the beginning. And Colton Ellis goes down as well. I think we're going to be looking at some of these lower scorers in this Hidden 1 battle. You know, Yukiyama did get the lowest score on the No Mod 4, but they are doing really well right now, finding a really good footing at the start. Seiri finding a miss as well. And Yukiyama and Kyushin go down. So there is only these 3 FCs coming out from Noxilium, or not at Noxilium, 2 FCs actually, Xabe and Syntax Error.
Yeah, that's right. Stands right now. We're still seeing a 4-way FC or almost 4-way FC, but Syntax Error gonna be the one to fall, making that 2. Noxilium, Cotinel is the only ones with combos in the lobby, and truly, nobody is able to exercise any sort of real cover on this map. Cotinel is gonna fall, and Noxilium is gonna be the last bastion to go down if he does just that. No more FCs across the board. Again, Maiji, this is a map that premises itself on hidden comfort. You need that level of comfort, firstly on hidden and then on alt, in order for you to get that consistent score on the board. And, you know, we're moving into the next flowing section of this map. This is all about the wide angles, the large jumps in tandem with the sliders.
Yeah. And, you know, it's Colden Ellis and Syntact Error and Xabe and Auxilium as well in the driver's seat. And it's just a battle between Yukiyama and Seiri, these lower scorers of the lobby. You know, you don't have to be the best, but as long as you're not the worst, you will be able to keep moving on in this battle royale. And right now, Hushin, the other one closer to being eliminated. And right now, the only one holding big combos is Noxilium.
Yep, to play up on the dynamic of Seiri and Yukiyama right now. I mean, Yukiyama and Seiri are just basically going back and forth. They're at a standstill as you move into the last quarter of the map. These sliders get bigger and bigger. The spacing between all these zigzag patterns get larger and larger, but Yukiyama looks to have just that slight edge when it comes to that hidden. Seiri just unable to put up any sort of fight right now. A 10k score lead separates these two players as Seiri is just with that slight accuracy trying his best to claw back. But as the map comes to a close, it looks like Yukiyama is just gonna narrowly escape elimination by the skin of his teeth.
Yeah, by 30k, beating out the Italy captain Seiri, and unfortunately 0-7 to Seiri, ending off the 6WC2025 in the Battle Royale. And now we are already down to 6 remaining. What are you thinking, Gabby? You know, we're going to be rolling into the next pick, so that next pick could really decide, you know, the skill sets. You know, some of these people are favored on, like, hard rock, some of them are more favored on reading. What are you thinking?
I think any sort of hidden pick instantly favors Syntact Error. Like, I think as we go into where, as the players start to thin, as the numbers start to thin out, the significance of what maps get picked are going to be so important. And I think there is no other player in the lobby that hits the hidden benchmark better than Syntact Error. But meanwhile, I mean, I personally I really don't have anything in my mind when it comes to what exactly is gonna trip out some of these players. I think that perhaps another hidden map might be interesting to see. Maybe that's where we see Hushin fall off. But on any mechanics pick as well, I mean, it could also be anyone's game. But Speak of the Devil is gonna be a hidden 3. Dear the Night I Love. Once again, my G, another hidden comfort pick. Whether you're able to hit the rhythm is another question. 5.15 star map for real.
Yeah, I mean, that has to be some coincidence. Custom back-to-back hidden 1 and the hidden 3, the swing tech hidden 3. And I mean, as you said, I mean, Syntact Error is more of a tech alt player, so this map definitely gonna favor them. I'm also looking at some players like Xabe and Colden Ellis, who are pretty hidden comfort. And I mean, it's gonna be a battle between Yukiyama and Hushin. We've seen such hidden discomfort on that hidden 1, so we're gonna be looking at them, the duel of elimination, and we should be getting into it shortly.
Yep, this map is a custom map by Nomi Nomu, one of the 2 customs. You know, the last one was Field of Hopes and Dreams from Lighten, which you just saw. This hidden 3, high BPM swing tech, a lot of fast sliders, a lot of weird and tricky rhythms, and once again, similar to that hidden 1, the hidden is going to be the main determining factor when it comes to the comfort of these players. But with that, without further ado, let's jump into this Osu original turn 6WC map. Let's jump into Dear the Night I Loved by Kabuchika featuring Aitsuki Nakaru.
Yep, and we are off, and this map's gonna start off pretty hard as well. Noxilium going down, and Colden Ellis and Hushin. Oh, Hushin Bancho. Okay, Hushin still has their combo intact, and there's just the 4 top members of the lobby with combo. Right now, Yukiyama, Noxilium, and Colden Ellis, the lower scorers of the map. Xabe, Syntact Error, and Hushin, all in the driver's seat right now. Hushin eating our words on this hidden 3. Xabe goes down though, so it's only these 2 FCs coming from the Team Titan captains. And Syntact Error goes down, so it's only Hushin holding FC.
Moving into the second half of the KI, Colden Ellis and Noxium trailing Hushin's score, but Hushin finds that miss, so does Noxilium. And with that, Colden Ellis, the only one left to hold. We get into the 1/3 tapping shred section of the map as we close off this KI. Codenell is now leading the lobby in terms of that combo, but Hushin leading the lobby in terms of that score. Meanwhile, to eye in on the bottom of the lobby, it's actually going to be Codenell and Noxilium, both hovering around that 80k mark. We move into, a more calm section, a slow but sure build up, more rhythm coming in to greet these players. The accuracy here is going to be very, very crucial for those players on the back foot. Wait, never mind, actually. I'm kind of blind. Yukiyama, in fact, is the lowest score in the lobby. It kind of just completely missed my mind.
Yeah, it's okay. I was gonna mention that. I mean, it's not looking too good for them. Colden Ellis and Sabe with massive combos.
Oh.
Colden Ellis goes down as soon as I say that, but I mean, it doesn't matter. As long as you're not the lower score in the lobby, you can move on. And right now, Yukiyama is eating up that low score, and the hidden discomfort is just cooking them right now. And it's so unfortunate that accuracy not doing them any favors going into the final third of the map.
That's right, a short intermission, once again, a slow section, a calm before the storm. Yushin now 400 combo and counting. The accuracies are non-existent from the entire lobby, but but it doesn't matter whatsoever. I mean, when nobody holds accuracy, combo reigns supreme, and that's exactly what Yushin has. Moving into the last two sliders of the map, Yushin finds a miss. You can tell that he didn't practice this map, but we are off to the races, into the final KI. All of these quick, tricky sliders, and the swing patterns instantly come to bombard these players, but Yukiyama is unfortunately just unable to toy with the scores at the top. Yukiyama has been just battling it out since the very beginning, and it seems as though their time has finally come.
Yeah, everybody over 200k except Yukiyama and Noxilium, and I think that is just coming down to the combo and accuracy from these two players. Kildanella is having the same accuracy as Noxilium, but they did build up that crazy combo before we went into the slower section, and with that, Yukiyama 95 going to be the one to fall at the end of this hidden 307 to Yukiyama.
Right, unfortunate. I mean, as I mentioned before, right, Yukiyama has been battling it out at the bottom for the last two maps, and their time has finally come, and unfortunately unable to escape elimination this time, and we will be saying goodbye to them. Well, that's it. I mean, now we are left with 5, and the hiddens are running thin. I think Syntax Era and Kisabe definitely were the ones who benefited the most of the hiddens still remaining. And now, I mean, I would be hard remiss if we didn't see any sort of mechanics come out. I think it's about time.
Yep. And, it's really funny. We were talking about how Hushin would be one of the lower scorers, but I actually just kind of, top scored that. Oh my god, are we going into another custom?
Oh, no. Oh, man. Fake SR, the fake SR, 5.15 into 4.64. Mind you, take it away, man.
The free mod 2, mapped by Puckpow, and like Gammy said, fake ass SR, original song by Dami, and this should be a really interesting one. This map gonna be your casual free mod 2, anti-mod type stuff, and I believe free mod, they can pick any mods except no mod.
I believe so, yeah. It's just gonna be any mod that isn't no mod. I think we're gonna definitely see a lot of hiddens, but honestly, my G, hidden on this map isn't any much easier than Hard Rock. I mean, there are a lot of weird, tricky overlap patterns alongside the high slider velocity. I think this map is characterized by, very awkwardly placed sliders because they're extremely quick, but you need the level of control. It's not like a tech map where you can just basically aim towards the end. A lot of these sliders are straight sliders. They're comfortable shapes, but the comfortable shapes just add that added element of difficulty when it comes to that structural reading that I think is really going to plague those hidden players. And on the Hard Rock, I mean, need I say more? Hard Rock tech in general is just something that's so foreign to a bunch of players. So I am going to be very interested to see the mod spread that these players will be going for in this free mod 2. But once again, I think Maiji, huge shout outs to Yobimo Entertainment for this lovely custom song. In particular, this is a custom song by Domi, a fighter, a 6WC Philippines, the 6WC Filipino player, and the 6APC captain of Team Philippines. Domi was actually one of the heads of Yobimo Entertainment, and of course, this was their contribution to the World Cup this year. But without further ado, let's jump straight into Domi. These nuts.
Yeah, I'm gonna be really honest. I'm surprised to be seeing Syntac there and Coldenellis the ones on the Hard Rock here. Hushin finding the first break on the hit, and I was really expecting to see Hushin or Noxilium on that Hard Rock. But unfortunately, that's not what we're seeing. We're seeing a big FC coming out from Syntac, Eric Sabe, and Noxilium. Syntac, they were on the hidden Hard Rock, still holding an FC, and everybody goes down. No more combo. The one on the back foot right now on this reading is Hushin, struggling really hard on the hidden, and everybody else finding their footing.
That's right. I mean, this map is just so incredibly intense. I mean, look at what's happening on the screens. They're just having sliders smash at you constantly, non-stop, one after another. And, as we get into that second third of the map, Codenella, Syntac, Eric Sabe leading the lobby right now with their 200 combos. And meanwhile, Hushin, unfortunately, not being able to find anything. And I think Hushin has basically given up. I mean, Hushin going into a map like this, not his specialty whatsoever, my G.
Yeah, Hushin, getting a little bit of discomfort on that hidden reading, unfortunately. And, we will be seeing our Philippines captain taking their leave because I don't think there is any comeback past the halfway mark here. But, let's just see how far these three guys can go. We have Syntac, Eric Sabe, and Kildenel holding these big combos going into the final Kia very shortly.
Yep, the next section of the map is just what you saw before, but a lot more intense. Codenellis is gonna find a miss. So does Syntac Error SB as the map begins to ramp up. The slider velocity just cranks up to 1,000. And we are deep into the next KI. Here we go. Misses all across the board. But it does not matter whatsoever. Like you said, Maiji, you don't need to do well. You just need to not do the worst.
Yep, and unfortunately, with Hushin giving up, we will be seeing the Seed 1 Philippines captain exiting this captain's Battle Royale. 07's in the chat to Hushin. Their run is not over, though. We will be seeing them play in the Grand Finals match as they are on that winner's bracket. But we are down to only 4. The Syntax, Eric Sabe, Coldenellis, and Noxilium.
That is right. And are we going to see more customs? I mean, we might see more customs. I'm looking at that Nomad 2. I really want to see that Nomad 2 now. The Nomad 1 would be great as well. But yeah, I really don't know what these maps would favor, who these maps would favor. All we could just, fuck me and say, let's just go hidden 2. And then we'll just have a hidden battle.
Is this scripted? Because every map we've played so far has been a custom / original. We kickstarted with the Nomad 4. We followed up with the hidden 1, hidden 3, and ended it off halfway on the free mod 2. And these last 4. Right? Yeah, surely we got either Nomad 1 or Nomad 2.
That's right. We will just have to wait and see what's happening on the ground. Fortunately, we can't see the chat this time, so I don't quite know. But I mean, what do you want to see, Maiji? What do you want to see?
I fully agree with you. I would love to see Distant Solas, but we do see Nomad 5!
We played the game! High pooling!
The banter, mapped by banter, banter 2, everything will freeze. Your secret graveyarded everything will freeze that some random found and pulled it in the 6WC Grands.
Yeah, that's right. I gotta thank Philoxen for this gold buy number 5. It's gonna be a certified Hood OC Classic, the one, the only. Everything will freeze. This is such a... This is one of my favorite picks in this Grand Finals pool. It might not be, the best Tesla speed at this SR, but what it is a perfect representation of the grand finals of a grand finals map. Think about the intensity of this map and the intensity of all of these 240 BPM bursts that we just constantly thrown at these players time and time again throughout this matchup. But we're gonna have a taste of what's to come in our bracket stage matches ahead with Undead Corporation. Everything will freeze. Let's jump straight into it.
You know, as we're down to these final 4 players, I'm looking at them and I don't think any of them are speed players, so this is just gonna come down to who can hold big combo.
I mean, this is the match heaven of all time, right? Double tap to the powers come home, you know. Yeah, we're
right
currently
now,
in the preliminary stages of this matchup. Nothing much more to comment about. And I think an interesting thing to know about this map is that the off KIs are honestly the same intensity, if not more intense on the tapping side compared to, the opening or the first half of the KI. So right now it's just going to be a battle for that early combo. Here we go. I mean, the build-up is coming in. The energy is building up. Currently, right now, Noxilium, Codenetta is holding the combo, but we're off to the races with the familiar tune of Everything Will Freeze.
Yup, 1/4 of the way through. Coldenellis in a huge lead right now. And the ones on the back foot are Syntact Error and Xabe. Xabe losing that duel, unfortunately. And building combo in these free combo sections is what's going to carry your score. You might everyone's going to miss on these big TIs, but, holding combo early on is what's going to matter. Syntact Error, the one to fall. Noxilium and Coldenellis, the ones to hold these big combos. Coldenellis going down, though, so Noxilium can try and build a lead of their own. But right now, it's still just Kasabe and Syntact Error with Kasabe going down. Syntact Error going to build that lead halfway through. Everything Will Freeze.
That's right. We're moving into another, tapping intensive section of the part. And once again, another build-up. It's just going to be all about that offensive. Once again, the tune comes in. And Syntact Error now, alongside Kasabe, are the ones to hold the combo. Both of them battling and fighting for their lives, trying to avoid that elimination hammer for as long as possible, but there's only so long that can prolong their demise.
Noxilium, the only one to hold through that burst. Syntax Error on the defensive against Xabe. Xabe going to try and hold as much as they can going into the final third section of the map. This is a free combo section going into the final KI. Will anybody find the break?
We're getting into the guitar solo of this map, one of the more, finger control intensive sections of the map, alongside a lot of aim and triples all across the board, coming to attack these players right now. The pressure is on. 5-note bursts come in, and the drums come in. The build-up is rising, and we are gonna jump straight into the final KI. Here we go!
Right now, Syntact Error against Kasabe in the final section of the map, but I mean, the score lead for Syntact Error compared to Kasabe is too big, and I think we will see our Polish captain leaving this captain's battle royale. Unfortunately, they can hold through this end section of the map, but Syntact Error was the one to hold throughout the rest. And Kasabe, the one to leave. 0-7 to our Polish captain. Pretty experienced tournament player. Unfortunately, not able to defeat the Titan Syntact Error. And big scores coming out from Coldenellis. The only B rank in the lobby, 280k. Noxilium following up with that big combo. But now, Gammy, we are only down to 3.
Oh, ho, ho, ho. This is where things get interesting. I think here is definitely where we see, what map gets chosen will heavily matter at this point. You're seeing Codenellis, a more mechanically oriented player. Syntax Error, on the other hand, being stronger on those hidden, stronger on those control picks. And Noxilium in general just being probably the most well-rounded player in the lobby. So, if it's something, that's an equilibrium pick, I'm thinking, your No Mod 1, maybe your No Mod 2, that's definitely going to favor a player like Noxilium. We'll have to see how it goes. Maybe we'll see No Mod 2. Please, chat. Please, chat.
You know, if we see Nomad 2, that is definitely not gonna favor Syntax Error whatsoever, as, you
Definitely
know,
not,
I
yeah.
know they're on a membrane keyboard and they don't like tapping, but if we see like a control pick, you know, maybe something like a Nomad 3, that is definitely going to favor them, but
Oh,
we
you're
see Lost
kidding me.
Umbrella!
Oh, so this is a Noxilium versus Syntax Era 1v1. So it's a there's no way Coden Ellis throws on this. Not after the performance we just saw on that No Mod 5.
You know, we've seen Syntax Error perform really well on that Fremont 2 with the hidden Hard Rock, and going into this Stamina Hard Rock 3, you know, this is a really low BPM map, so I think Syntax Error should be able to play this. You know, this map's only 170 BPM, but on the Hard Rock, that OD10 is going to be the difficulty of this Hard Rock 3. I think Colden Ellis should be pretty safe on this pick, though, but like as you said, Noxilium and Syntax Error, the ones to be watching for the elimination duel.
That's right. I think this could swing either way. I think in the previous match, you definitely saw Noxilium exercise slightly more comfort when it came to the tapping. But at the same time, I mean, both these players not too well known for their skill on both hard rock and mechanics. So it's still anybody's game. This map is a custom map. No, well, it was a custom map for another tournament by Jackie. Repurposed this time as a hard rock 3 for the 6-digit World Cup. It is your 170 BPM pure stamina test. Alongside the OD10 of this map, it will really test your tenacity throughout these, 2 minutes and 35 seconds. It's gonna be a very intense map, and it's just gonna be a consistent barrage of streams coming at you one after another.
You know, there is that infamous stream at the end of the map. This stream
Yeah.
that is over 100 notes, and I think the one who can combo the most on that and not chain miss is going to be the winner out of D2 battle. But we are going into the Hard Rock 3 Lost Umbrella mapped by Jackie.
Right, here we go. Already, the streams start to claim these players, and nobody is able to attain any sort of accuracy as the guitar solo comes in. We are right into the action. This earlier section is all about normalizing yourself to the BPM, getting used to that 170 BPM flow and that 170 BPM stamina, because it's only gonna go uphill from here. Players need to use these moments to warm themselves up before it's full thrust into the KI.
Syntax Error, Noxilium going down at the same time. Syntax Error, the one to build up the more accuracy, the highest accuracy in the lobby in this early section of the map, and that's what's gonna matter, that accuracy over the combo right now. And right now, Syntax Error holding out, and Coldanilla is still holding out in FC, unfortunately a little bit lower act than Syntax Error, but they are in the middle of the accuracies for the lobby right now, and we're halfway through. Coldanellis drops their FC, and I mean, Noxilium gonna try and recover, try and take out Syntax Error, but Syntax Error, with that accuracy, it's going to carry them pretty far.
That's right, and it doesn't help that Noxilium is really feeling the pressure of the 170, finding a bunch of shakes, and when your CS is 5.2, that's definitely not a shake that you want to deal with. We're getting into a build-up section, I believe. After this, there's going to be a slower section here. It's going to be a break. Give some time for these players to regain their confidence, regain that stamina, but it's not a lot of time, and Noxilium finding that miss. I mean, Syntax Error is going to continue to widen that score gap more and more. Finally finds the miss, but as the familiar tune of Lost Umbrella comes in, Noxilium probably already knows what's going to hit him.
And here it is, the long stream. Coldanellis dropping Noxilium and Syntax Error holding through it. Noxilium goes down in the final section, and with a 50k score difference between Coldanellis and Noxilium, it's going to be the final stream that will decide. And I think after that final stream, we see Noxilium dropping so much they give up. And unfortunately, we will be seeing the India captain Noxilium being eliminated on Lost Umbrella. And we are down to 2, Gammy.
This is your matchup of the lobby. Syntax Error versus Koju Nellis. I think this is a battle of mechanics versus control. I think, if this is a DT pick, I think there is a case to be made that Syntax Era can win. With Codenellis, being the favorite to win that kind of mechanics oriented pick. But if this is a hidden two, if this is a control pick like No Mod 3, I think the win just goes to Syntax Era right then and there.
Yeah.
That's how dire, the coin flip is against two very, very polarizing players.
What would be the chances we just see Nomad 1 right now?
Honestly, that would be pretty hype. Nova 1 final pick would be pretty damn hype. I mean, both players probably able to play the Nova 1 relatively well. One of the more accessible maps in the pool, despite being 6 stars or almost 6 stars. I think it could go either way, but we'll have to wait and see. It's all in the hands of the cards.
Yep, we're just gonna equalize the client so it shows just these two players and should be no other fillings. Once our streamer is done with that. Oh, do you hear it, Gami?
Oh, what the hell? Why are we playing game? Why are we playing what?
Why are we playing this? Okay, we're back to Hard Rock 3.
Gang poem reference. Random gang poem reference.
Oh my god, we can see chat.
Yeah, and I think one thing to note, my G, I think we mentioned that Codenellis was like one of the underdogs going into this matchup. I think oh my goodness. I couldn't have expected that Codenellis would get this far, especially given Lithuania's seeding. But screw if you love Lithuania. I think everybody is rooting for the underdog, and that underdog is Codenellis in this scenario. But it looks like we're gonna get the Noma 1.
What in the pre-fire did we just do? We wanted to see the Nomad 1 and we are seeing it now in this final battle in the second lobby of the Battle Royale Captains. We started with 8 and we are down to the final 2. The Lithuanian captain Codenellis, the carry of Lithuania, against the 6WC1 champion Syntax Error, and with good luck coming out from Codenellis, good luck coming out from Syntax Error. We're gonna be getting into Wings of Threshold, mapped by Arcs Grand Finals. Nomad 1, Gami, kick us off when we start this map.
This is a battle of a veteran and a new blood. Syntax Era bringing that 6WC1 performance to the table. Meanwhile, Codenellis making huge waves in the tournament scene, despite this being Lithuania's first big year in the World Cup. Codenellis and Syntax Era, I think this is going to be a match-up to watch, as we mentioned before, right? Wings of Threshold, No More 1, typically your more accessible map. And with that, it's really gonna be that war of attrition, and whoever ends up with the score lead at the end of these 4 minutes will be moving on to face Yoko XD or Satori Depon in Resplendence.
Yup, and going into that tiebreaker, we have these two final players on the Nomad 1, but against Satori, who do you think would be the one to be more favored on the tiebreaker between these two gamers?
I think it's very easy to say that it's Syntax Era, but I think there is a case to be made for Codenellis. I think Codenellis has the mechanical intensity and the mechanical prowess and comfort that Resplendence demands from the players. But meanwhile, I mean, I just can't help but think, Syntax Era is just the player to count on when it comes to your controls. So, I mean, the easy answer is Syntax, but I could definitely see Codenellis being brought to the discussion.
Yep, and early on in this Nomad 1, Syntax Error with the score lead by about 5-10k score, with that accuracy lead that they have built up right now. And we are in a little bit of a slow section, but right after this section, we're going to be going into those bigger jumps that we see in this Nomad 1. And right now, we're just waiting to see, can the map start? The difficulty, please. We are already a quarter of the way through going into the main chorus.
A bit of suspense, we love Arcs just aging us just a little bit, but the disc spike comes in, and here we are, Wings of Threshold, first KI magic going into the game. Codenellis and Syntax Era currently dead even in terms of that combo. The 1/3 come in, everybody hits it. Codenellis, however, finding a few ag drops here and there. not gonna matter too much. We're still in the second third of the map and anything can happen. Syntax Error is gonna be, however, the one to draw first blood, and it's gonna be the one to go down as Codenellis now has the leeway, has the leniency to take that score lead further and further.
Syntax Error going down just before the free combo section, going into those smaller jumps. And, you know, they have that accuracy lead, so if Coldenellis finds a break here on these big jump patterns, on these sliders, if they go down here, Syntax Error can start bringing this back. But right now, Coldenellis in the driver's seat halfway through the map.
Oh my goodness, we were doubting Codenellis at the beginning, but Codenellis is here to prove us wrong. 800 combo and counting, moving into, you know, the instrumental interlude, the heavy tapping section of the map. The ones that the triples come in so easy to lose your focus. But, you know, as we move into the slow section, the nerves are gonna start to build up, and the nerves claim Codenellis as he finds that miss.
Syntax Error cold as ice, hitting that pattern, going into the free combo. We're gonna be getting into the big jumps. A third of the map remains, and they have the accuracy lead, they have the combo lead. You have what it takes to bring this back. Can you run through the fire and take it home and battle Satori the Pawn on the tiebreaker?
The bloody hunt is on. Syntax Error spreading his wings and soaring in pursuit of Codenellis' score lead, taking what's rightfully his. Last quarter of the map. It is gonna be it's gonna be after how badly Syntax wants this lead.
It's only 40k score difference. If Coldenellis finds a break that's going to shut it down, Syntax will be able to bring it back as they are open, but Syntax Error breaks on the slider!
Oh my goodness, that is devastating. 50k score lead. Codenellis, however, finds the miss, is gonna equalize things. An eye for an eye, but Syntax Error is at the back foot, fighting the misses. The nerves are claiming his arm. And with that, Codenellis will be making it till the end of the KI. Last eighth of the map, last few seconds of the map. But it seems as though Codenellis, against all odds, is gonna be succeeding Syntax Error in this Battle Royale lobby. That guy just did that. Codenellis just did that. Like, that's the guy that we were doubting. He just did that. Oh my goodness. We have a match. Codenellis with a 540k score on this No More 1, beating out Syntax Error by a whopping 100k. That's a way to go to tiebreaker. Codenellis, congratulations. I was a doubter, but you have proven me wrong.
Yep, and with my Wi-Fi respawning back, it's my fault. Coldenellis with a huge 540k. What a score coming out from Coldenellis on this 6-star Nomad 1. And that was the highest Nomad 1 score we've seen out of everyone in who has played this map. It was played in the other lobby, and Coldenellis going to battle Satori the Pawn on the tiebreaker.
Oh man! Oh man. Satori the Pawn, arguably one of the strongest players when it comes to highest star in the tournament, full stop, right? And Codenellis has his work cut out for him, but for what it's worth, Codenellis just beat Syntax Error, the captain of the C2 team of the 6-digit World Cup. So what's another one to add to his name, right? What's another trophy to add to his cabinet? If there's anyone who I think will be able to prove us wrong, it is the Lithuanian captain in Codenellis. And scream if you love Lithuania, because I sure do.
Yep, Coldenellis, the one to kickstart Lithuania's story for the Lithuanians this year. And, you know, with Coldenellis playing Satori the Pawn in this grand finals tiebreaker is honestly what I wanted to see. Two teams who are not remaining. We almost seen the Indonesian captain play the tiebreaker, but this time we will see the Russian captain against the Lithuanian new blood, Coldenellis.
Right, and what a map to see it on as well. It's gonna be Kagetora Resplendence, the 6-digit World Cup custom original grand finals tiebreaker. It's a map that features so many different skill sets. You have, you know, a blend of all, some reading, a lot of fin control, tech, and aim control. It's a full flavor song with a whole bunch of genres. I believe 9 whole different genres. Do listen out and spot it if you have a section that you particularly enjoy. But with that said, the players are coming to the lobby. Codenellis versus Satori Depon is gonna be your final matchup. Satori Depon has always been known as a titan, a bastion of stone, if you will. One of the strongest players in the Apex Theater, an Apex Theater qualifier, may I add. And, I mean, against such a titan, if I were Codenellis, I would be pretty damn scared, my G. I mean, what do you think?
Codenellis being the dark horse of these 16 players, they battled their way through valiantly in that battle royale, and they came out on top. They took the crown. But can you beat Satori Depon, the Russian captain, the veteran of tournaments? You know, Satori's such a strong skill cap player, as you mentioned, and you know, we're just gonna have to wait for this tiebreaker to begin. But as we wait for the tiebreaker to begin, you know, let's talk a little bit about the tiebreaker itself, Gammy. You know, tell us about all these skill sets and the stats of this TB.
Oh man, I wish I could pull up all of the genres, which I am gonna do very quick. But you know, overall, the overarching genre of this tiebreaker is all gonna be hardcore and J-rock, all about that, all these melodic genres, yet bringing the intensity of, you know, your classic OWC Grand Finals tiebreaker. This map also features a lot of areas for that cooldown. Well, as cooldown as an alt section gets, yes, you know, some bass house, some swing mixed into the rhythm. But that's it. I mean, those swing sections are where, you know, you need to keep your focus, and it's very easy to drop that kind of focus. Across the board, this is a custom map by 0PP and Osu, Nomi Nomu, Kokoyu, Hamano, as well as there is one person that I'm just like, Nayami, that is
Nayami,
right. Oh my goodness,
yep.
I can't believe I forgot. A 5-way tech mapper collab. It features a whole lot of different unique mapping styles that are just akin to, you know, a map so demanding when it comes to your skill set diversity and your adaptability across the board. You have Nayami's very revolutionary style of flow and slider mapping. You have Amano's movement mapping. You have Kokoyu's wide angle new gen freeform style mapping. So 0PP pioneering the tech scene when it comes to, you know, mapping these weird slider shapes, mapping these extremely unique new gen slider patterns, alongside Nomi Nomu being your 6-digit represent, one of the most well-known 6-digit mappers in the past year, in so many years, bringing, you know, your more conventional style, yet still tricky and difficulty-wise extremely dense patterns when it comes to your alt sections and your high-intensity tech sections. Across the board, Resplendence demands consistent focus and consistent pressure is being put on these players. The nerves, I imagine, must be through the roof.
Yeah, and I mean, with Satori Depon's tournament experience, maybe those nerves will help them as they enter the lobby after practicing, as we were talking about Resplendence and Codenellis staying in the lobby cold as ice. You know, this is going to be a battle of the consistency and those mechanics. How far can these players go on this skill cap tiebreaker? And I think we should be ready. The good luck and the lock-in from Perry Crayola has came in, and now we're just waiting for players to ready up, and we will be going into the grand finals tiebreaker. This might be the only time we see the tiebreaker be played. Or we can see it be played every time.
You know, jokes aside, I think this is a story. Codenellis, I think Satori Depon sees a lot of himself or his old self in Codenellis. A year ago, how we view Codenellis was probably the same way that we view Satori Depon, or then known as Yoko XD. Two aspiring players, one player who's reached the pinnacle and one who's just getting started. But we'll have to see if Codenellis is able to prove the world and everyone at home wrong. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Kagetora Resplendence, the pinnacle of the sublime, your 6-digit World Cup Grand Finals tiebreaker.
And we are off in the build-up section. Right now, Satori in the lead with the accuracy on their side, but the combo is still equal. It's what we've seen in the Nomad 1. Coldenella is a little bit on the lower end on the accuracy, but this is nothing like the Nomad 1. This map is much harder, and after those streams, we're going into the first Ki, the tech of this tiebreaker.
That's right, the first tech core section of the map. Codenella is going to be the first one to find the miss. Meanwhile, Satori Depon holding that early combo of a 400 combo lead. Right now, we're getting into the second half of the Ki. The tapping, the fin control element really seeming to trip it, to continue to trip Codenellis up. But Satori Depon gonna reach that free air as we move into the more movement-heavy section of Kokoyu.
Oh man, we are not even a quarter of the way in yet, and it is one-sided. A huge accuracy lead from Satori. Coldenella is finding another break, but it's still early days. You know, the Coldenellas can still bring this back from a miracle, but Satori is holding massive right now, going into more tapping.
Satori, we are going into the, huge aim control flowing cut stream section. Satori Depon finally finds that miss. We're moving into that second half, and once again, that score lead has generated to a massive 60k, pardon me. But we're moving slowly but surely into the clear. And here we are, the eye of the hurricane, the calm before the storm. The free combo section for these players to regain their nerves. Codenellis isn't out of the fight just yet. He still has 2/3 of the map left in the tank, but against such a confident and consistent player like Satori Depon, such a feat is easier said than done.
The accuracy is starting to equalize a little bit. Satori dropping a lot on that tapping aim control section. Coldenella is building up really well. It's been shorted down to 5%, but with a slow section comes a Ki, and here we go into another Ki, and Coldenella is finding a break early.
That's right. The map is gonna slowly build its way down as the players slowly feeling the alternate skill set. Ladies and gentlemen, are you ready to feel the groove as we jump into 0PP's alt section?
And right now, Satori demolishing this alt section. Coldenellis a little bit uncomfortable on the control, but Satori is showing how experienced they are. Satori goes down though. Coldenellis holding through that, and the accuracy is much closer now than it used to be. But Satori, with how much combo they've built, we are past the halfway mark. Coldenellis is gonna have to hold very far into this tiebreaker.
Right, we're moving out into the more free flow section. Once again, I believe this is Kokoyu section. We're moving into the Shadow Castle patterns of the map. Satori Depon finds the miss. Codenellis has some air time. But with that said, we're moving into the speedy alt section of Nomi Nomu. Incredibly intensive when it comes to your aim and finger control. And with that said, I don't think anybody is able to exercise any sort of comfort. With that, the final break before it's full thrust into the final Ki, the adrenaline slowly but surely fills the lobby as these players know what's coming up. Satori Depon at this juncture confident with that 60k combo. Meanwhile, Codenellis still has a lot of room, a lot of space to cover if he wants to make this comeback.
Yeah, Satori Depon has a lot of leg room right now. You know, with this score lead going into more tapping, these tapping sections is what favored Satori Depon in the beginning. Will it favor them now going into the final quarter of Representance? Who will break first? Coldenellis, you can still bring this back. It's only 60k, and Coldenellis goes down. Satori holding through the Ki, but the Ki is not over. They're still holding, but they find a break.
That's right. We're moving full thrust into the Ki, and Satori Depon unrelenting as ever. That 226k score and counting. Moving into the second half of the Ki, the final hardcore section. Satori Depon moves forward, unrelenting, blazing past the Codenellis, and I mean, at this point, this lead from Satori Depon is insurmountable. Codenellis can only sit back and watch as Satori Depon continues to press against Codenellis' throat. The cutthroat nature of this victory is so incredibly intense as both players race into the final speed core section. Ladies and gentlemen, your winner of this Captain's Show match will be the one, the only Satori Depon of Team Russia.
Running through the flames, Satori Depon 240k on this tiebreaker. Both of these players playing 7 maps and ending off on the 8th on the tiebreaker. Satori Depon coming out on top on the tiebreaker, winning the Captain's Battle Royale, one of our final events for the players who are not remaining in the 6WC2025. And Satori Depon, you have won the title of the Battle Royale. Gammy, oh my god, what a good Battle Royale and 1v1 we had all throughout this stream.
I mean, it's very easy to compare Satori Depon's performance here to Jackie versus Wheels West 2 years ago in the Battle Royale. But I mean, with that said, Coden Ellis getting up to this point had to go through so many difficult opponents. I'm thinking Syntax Era, he had to go through Noxilium, a bunch of captains he had to battle up against, and for what it's worth, being able to go up against Yoko on Resplendence is definitely a feat that not many players can say that they're worthy of. But with that, ladies and gentlemen, I think that's all we have for this Grand Finals Battle Royale. Do tune in tomorrow for our first Grand Finals matchup. It's going to be Team Indonesia versus the USA. Maiji, any last words from you?
Nope. Thanks for commentating with me, Gammy. Unfortunately, Foxy couldn't make it. Gammy pulling through, your host, commentating this 6-digit World Cup 2025 Captain's Battle Royale. And make sure you tune in for the match that is to come tomorrow at Sunday, 16:45 UTC, as we see 2 Titans clash. And USA won last time, but will they be able to win again, or will Indonesia get their revenge and move on to play the Philippines in the winner's bracket? But that's all I had to say. Gammy, close us out.
Yeah, that's right. That's a story for tomorrow, and that will be a match to watch for tomorrow as well. But until then, ladies and gentlemen, you have been watching another Project Hexagon stream. You shout out the Jorian for being the lovely stream, as well as Perry Crayola for being the ref. So with that, ladies and gentlemen, do sign in once more for our first Grand Finals match. It's going to be at 16:45 UTC tomorrow. But until then, my name has been Gammy Crayola. His name was Maiji. We'll see you when we see you. Goodbye.
Bye-bye.